Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. Sunday NFL action. We've got a big one. Got the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. This is a quick revenge game, guys. They played just 2 weeks ago on Thursday night. Crazy game. Both teams kept trying to give it to the other team, and finally the Saints gave it to Atlanta at the end with the interception in the end zone. I'm going to go to you first, Brian. Preston, this is your best bet, so anxious to hear what you have to say. But what do you look at this one? Atlanta, we watched the game Monday night with the gang from Monday Night Football, and Atlanta was a team that looked like they were just trying to get in and get out and get the win, and that's what they did. Failed to cover the spread, made all of us happy there. What do you see here?
Yeah, short week for Atlanta, but they are playing a team, number one, in their own division, so they know them. And number two, they just played them recently, so I don't think that'll have much of a factor. From an injury standpoint, from a worn-out standpoint, we talk about the games on Thursday, and the players hate the Thursday games. Anybody who watched the Thursday game, NFL, are you listening? So that's not going to be a factor here, but you've got two dome teams that are very fast, very good offensively. The line's about what I thought it was going to be. I looked at it and I said, well, if it's 6, I'm playing one side. If it's 4, I'm playing the other. So at this point, I'm pretty much stuck in the middle, and I'm just excited to see the game. It should be a great game.
It's probably not the first time you got stuck somewhere.
I'm stuck in the middle today, aren't I?
Preston, the first meeting, uncharacteristic of an Atlanta Saint game. We usually see these two teams going up and down the field. We had a low-scoring game. I think part of that was the short week with the Thursday, and there were 4 turnovers in this game. Now, turnovers can send you way over a total real quick, or they can kill a total too, depending where they happen on the field. And in this instance, if you watch this game, a lot of the turnovers came after long drives deep in the other team's territory and killed the points. I see a little bit of a reversal in this game. I think it's going to be more of a track meet, more wide open. And after such an adjustment, I mean, the total was 50-something in the first meeting, and they went way under 20-17. Normally, you would see an adjustment in the second total. This one's actually higher, Preston, than it was the Thursday night game, which tells me Vegas agrees with where I'm looking at as far as the total. I don't know where you're at.
I want to say all 4 turnovers were in the opposition's territory, 3 of them in the red zone. There was the one in the end zone. So that's going to kill any overplay and be great for an under. And so for me, I'm not looking at the total. I'm looking at the side. And I think it'll be a very popular pick to use the Saints because they lost to Atlanta last time just a few weeks ago, and it was a game that they were up in the fourth quarter by 7, and Atlanta scored the last 10 points. I think people perceive that the Saints are the better team anyways. Now they're playing at home. I personally don't think that the game from 2 weeks ago has an effect on this upcoming game. So I think the 5.5 is too high. So I'm taking plus 5.5, and I like the Falcons. They closed favorites, 2.5-point favorites just 2 weeks ago. That was right where my number was. Now they're getting 5.5. In the NFL this day and age, you're not really giving teams more than 2.5 points of home field advantage unless maybe you're Denver, maybe Kansas City and Seattle, like an in-between. But you say 2.5 points of home would flip Atlanta being a 2.5-point favorite or 2-point favorite to being 2.5 or 3-point dogs here, not 5.5. So you look at the actual numbers. The Saints, they do have the best offense in the NFL. Atlanta has the 3rd best offense in the NFL. Atlanta has the slightly better defense. I don't think there's really much of a mismatch either way. This is essentially a New Orleans home. They should be a 2.5 or 3-point favorite game. We're getting 5.5 when it lands 3, when it lands 4. The 1 or 2 out of 100 times it lands 5, we're going to be cashing now, which is obviously going to be profitable versus the minus 110. So there's not much to it for me other than playing the number. I think it's too high. Playing Falcons, taking 5.5 in a spot I think will be kind of a less popular road dog just because of that game 2 weeks ago, where, by the way, we talk about 4 turnovers. 3 of them were Atlanta. They were minus 2 turnover differential and won the game anyway. They outgained them. They had 10 more first downs. They actually outplayed the Saints outside of the turnovers. Otherwise, that play wouldn't have been as close.
Don't forget, Kamara got hurt in that game early and had to leave with a concussion, which obviously is a big part of their offense. Brian?
Yeah, I just wanted to make the note. You talked about the total in this game compared to the other game. The other game was on a Thursday, and Thursdays the offenses really don't have much time to put things in together. So that's what might be one of the reasons why the total was lower there.
That's definitely why I think it became lower. But the thing is, the public still bets it the other way because it's a standalone game. These TV games generally, especially with offenses like that, they're going to bet the over. John Q. Public's going to bet the over. The Sharps go the other. I agree with you. The Sharps look at that is, they're going to play less time to prepare. It's harder to, prepare. But on the same token, it's a team that you play twice a year, so it shouldn't be. And that's the way these Thursday night games are supposed to be. They're supposed to be division games, so nobody has that advantage with that road team having to go. The one thing that I just want to point out real quick to you, Preston, if you remember, you're correct on the closing number on Atlanta, but that was a crazy game that week. The Saints all week were the favorite in that game until game day. That line switched game day because I was on Atlanta in that one, and I waited till later to release, and I got a little bit the worse of the number, but that doesn't bother me when you're dealing with +1.5 or -1.5. To me, that's still all the same thing. You got to win the ball game. But all week it was. So if it would have stayed the Saints and you do the 2.5 point swing, this is where that number would be.
Yeah, but it didn't close there. Obviously, the market was saying, hey, the Saints shouldn't be. I mean, personally, I opened up like 5 Atlanta +8 teasers during the week just because I thought it was ridiculous that Atlanta was getting 2.
Right, exactly.
I thought they should have been the favorite, and so getting a +8 in that game, I had done that. But anyways, yeah, if it had closed +2, then yeah, it's a completely different story. But there's nothing that's happened in the last 2 weeks that that makes that my number or the market number any different, in my opinion.
All right, good stuff. Preston says to take Atlanta this week as his best bet for Sunday action, and it's a big game. Atlanta needs to win that one for keeping their wild card hopes alive. And guys, if you want to save $10 this week, Rogers 10, coupon code Rogers and the number 10, you'll save $10 on any package at WagerTalk. You can use it on a 3-day, 7-day, anything, or an individual game package. Check it out, WagerTalk.com. Don't forget, guys, if you like these videos, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate it, and share it with all your friends. We'll be back with more at WagerTalk.com.